Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level. Second level gaming. Second level.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for coming on out. It's my pleasure to introduce the next talk, which is titled Welcome Home, Utilizing Matterport to Craft an Indie Horror Game. And it's my pleasure to introduce your speakers, Taryn Westphale and Colin Robinson.
Thank you. Oh, hello.
Sorry, this is very dramatic.
Yeah, we're...
First of all, hello? I can't. Is it working? Okay, cool. All right, thank you. First of all, thank you guys for coming. We weren't even sure if people would even want to do anything like this on a Sunday afternoon, so it means a lot to us. Okay. What is like? I can't tell. Okay. All right. Oh, you get to hold it. Okay. Whoa. All right. Yeah, thank you guys for coming out. I'll just tell you a little bit about myself real quick. My name is Taryn. I'm from Springfield, Missouri. Colin and I both just recently graduated from Missouri State University, their electronic arts program, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Just quick bit about myself. I'm a video studies major, screenwriting minor, and part of our thesis project, which you'll see in a little bit, is kind of why we're here today. We decided for the program that we were enrolled in doing a combination of filmmaking and then video game design because it's an interdisciplinary program that we were enrolled in. So I'll let you tell a little bit about yourself and we'll go from there.
Yeah, my name's Colin Robinson, and I also attended Missouri State University. Do we have anyone here that attended by chance or is planning to attend? No, just us for special? Your sister-in-law? Okay. It counts.
Just a little bit about the program there for those who aren't familiar and are maybe considering a program to go into. They have 4 different studies that they select 15 candidates from this program, everything from audio to video to animation to interactive new media, which is what you're seeing a lot of here. So I highly recommend it. I always wanted to go to school in California for filmmaking. I thought that would be just the place to go, but surprisingly enough, here in Missouri, we've actually got a number of really good programs. In regards to what they emphasized in the program that we have done our thesis for, storytelling and collaboration. And I feel like that's something that's so pivotal in every industry, particularly the gaming industry, since this is a gaming convention. And I think that's a big part of why Colin chose it as well.
No, absolutely. Yeah, and just to reiterate, I was part of the animation route, I guess, of electronic arts at Missouri State. But really what the electronic arts program is about, as Taryn, it's really about collaboration and learning how collaboration is like extremely essential, not only just in the film industry, but among the audio and animation and interactive media routes in general, and how when you choose one of these routes, you're not going to just talk to animators or just audio people. You're going to have to cross-collaborate, and really that's how you get the most, I guess, polished and the best work that you can get is when you get more hands on board.
Yeah, because so like when I first applied to the school, just to talk a little bit more about it, I knew that I wanted to do filmmaking, but one of my advisors suggested considering the electronic arts program. I was like, well, I don't really want to learn animation. This is me at the time. I'm like, I don't want to learn animation or audio. I just want to focus on filmmaking. But throughout the whole process, I really learned a lot about like interests that I didn't even know I had. Like I mean, I love gaming, of course, but I've learned just throughout the coursework just how to do, keyframe animation, all this stuff that I'd never even heard of before. So again, like I just think it's important for anyone in any industry to have an understanding of like what other departments do, because I didn't want to live in my bubble of creativity, and I think that's so important, especially again with the gaming industry, because you've got your animators, designers, everybody doing
You've got to learn how to storyboard, which is, you do in film and animation, and it's just it's so vital to know what's going on in all those different aspects.
And especially being able to communicate with your peers the pros and cons of what they're going through. I think that's a big struggle in any creative industry, that you're not, if you don't communicate the qualms that you maybe have creatively with your cohorts, you're not necessarily going to have the product that you deserve. Right. So I guess we could talk a little bit finally about our project. Enough about that. But yeah, basically our project is called The Bell Garden. It is an hopefully going to be an interactive horror film slash video. I guess you'd call it a video game. It's more of a virtual reality experience.
Yeah.
So do you want to show the trailer and then we can talk about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's show the trailer and go from there. Thanks.
Mother's got a home, home, home. Mother's got a home, sweet home. Mother's got a home, home, home. Mom, Dad, the angel's beautiful home, 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 home. Got a home, home, home. This has got a home, sweet home. This has got a home, home, home.
That's our teaser from the showcase that we had at our university. I have to give a little Easter egg. That's actually Colin at the end. So he's a voice actor as well.
Grandma voice.
Right. So anyway, yeah, that's just a little bit of a teaser for our project. What we've done so far is that we have filmed the trailer as well as a few different scenes, and the primary premise of this, though, has utilized what's called Matterport technology. Mm-hmm. Now, some of you might be familiar with that. I'm impressed if you are, because it's primarily used in the real estate and government contractor industry. Now, what it is, if we could actually go ahead and pull that up while we're talking, so that way you guys have something cool to look at. It is a 3D camera that does 360 tours of different types of architecture. It's really impressive. So what we're looking at behind us right now is what's called the dollhouse view, and this is the location that we filmed our film at. It is they're called the Walnut Street Inn in Springfield, Missouri, and they've been kind enough to let us use their facility for a number of purposes. But the reason why we selected is because our piece is 1930s, so we wanted to have a bit of a vintage feel for our set. Now, Colin, do you want to tell a little bit about like the point cloud data and what we're seeing here?
Yeah, this is not a point cloud, but whenever they go in and do scans of the property with the Matterport camera, originally people will get like a scanner to go in and scan the space, and then they'll go ahead and process that data into a full, it doesn't look anything like that. It's like HD, super clear, but it's like a virtual print or virtual rendering of the space, I guess, online.
Yeah, so for those who are familiar with camera work or filmmaking, this is actually a rough scan, but eventually this will be 4K quality once it's rendered out. So what you're seeing, if we could loop it again, thank you so much. So what you're seeing is just a rough rendering of it. Eventually, it's going to be like you were in the room. We're going to be integrating with virtual reality software. I think, what are you working with right now?
Well, we're working with Unreal Engine right now. It seems to be the best fit, but we're hoping that maybe we can export it over to Gear VR or Google Cardboard, some more accessible ports like that.
Yeah. So basically what we're going to be doing with this environment is our premise was we're going to have it be like a video game with cutscenes. So the live action scenes that we film are sort of the cutscenes that trigger different events in the environment, and you can't really see it in this view, but when you are in not the dollhouse, it's called the Yeah, so just when you're in the actual walkthrough view of it, you'll have different points that you can click on throughout the environment, like little dots throughout it. And what Colin will be doing, since he's like the lead animator and designer on this portion, is we'll have different objects that are embedded through the environment that'll trigger these different portions of the film.
Yeah, we're calling them like memory objects. So our main character, Rosalind Bell, which is played by Annabelle Pearl, as you saw in the trailer, you'll be sort of embodying that character throughout the game. And she'll be going throughout the house trying to piece together why her family is not present at the house when she arrives. So yeah, the main story will be told through those objects, and she'll get like a sort of, not vision, but like a flashback of something that happened in the house.
So basically, the premise is you're piecing together different objects throughout the environment to try to sort out what has happened in your absence. And one thing that's really cool, my understanding anyway, is regarding the environment is that, let's say, for example, you can see in that shot we have a TV screen. Well, obviously that wasn't looking like that in the 1930s, and we have a computer there. Colin, you can patch in different elements. Is that correct?
Yeah. Especially when we have the raw point cloud data, it literally looks like little points within space that have some colored data on them. And I can go through and delete the portions that aren't relevant, like the TV, or even just put like another model on top of that, like a picture frame, you know. But yeah, just cleaning up the data in general to make it actually look like it's been in the 1930s and doesn't have a flat screen TV in the middle of the living room. Yeah,
there's a lot of really cool options that you have with this particular technology and software.
Yeah.
Since I'm not sure how much time we have left, I'll go ahead and like open up if anyone has any questions about this, since this is something that hasn't really been done in film or video gaming before. We found that in our thesis research that we weren't able to really complete anything because what we're doing is pretty new and it's really exciting.
It's been a lot of research, but I actually did find one. I didn't tell you this, but I found one. There was a group of students at Harvey Mudd College that they had scanned a space of their school and created like a little short video game, like an orientation video game to show the school. But I didn't tell you.
No, that's exciting. Well, that's the cool thing about it.
Has done this.
Is that I feel like it's something that really could possibly be utilized in the gaming, particularly indie gaming industry, because this scan in particular, we didn't own the camera that has done this. We actually had someone help us. It was only $500 to do this scan. It's incredible. Yeah. Well, actually,
the
cameras are actually not as expensive as you maybe think for being 4K quality. The cheapest one they have is like $2,500. They do have one that goes up to like $1,500. But if this is something that you would like potentially be doing for a gaming environment, it's very possible that you could really like evolve this software and see where it could take you with what you want to do. So it's pretty cool. So, does anyone have any questions? Yes, yeah. Josie, right? Hi.
So, what's the process for actually like recording the footage or the images, like with the camera going through it?
It's actually really easy. We didn't do it ourselves. We commissioned someone from Oculum Works in Springfield, Missouri. Like I said, it was like $500. It's really cool.
And that's usually how it works. Just people will buy the camera and then sort of make a business out of scanning. And that's what Kurt was doing. He has his own local business.
Yeah, so if you're looking for a side gig, it's actually not a bad deal. But yeah, so basically what we would do, the camera he specifically had, because there's 3 different models, he would just set it up in a room, and you have to be sure, it's like when you do a panorama on your phone. So you need to be sure nothing moves, no one's in there, and then you just click the button, and you just kind of scamper out, and it takes like a minute. And then what he did, just to be sure that each process was good with the lighting and everything, he did like 4 or 5 times each time. So this is actually a fairly large in that we did, but honestly, it maybe took like 5 hours that day for this entire facility.
Less, yeah.
Maybe even less than that, because we were taking our time. So yeah, it's pretty neat. You just push a button on most models, and you just let it do its thing.
Yeah. That was one of the like challenges though, because since it wasn't in, there were like customers coming in and out constantly, and we kind of be like, just wait 1 second while we get this scan.
But that is the cool thing about this technology though, right, is that let's say you had a really good scan, but there's one part of it that like had a person or the lighting was weird, you can patch it in.
Go back in or patch it, yeah.
And how do you do that? Because you have...
Well, I mean, again, mostly like with the color data, it's a little bit harder because it will capture, like, if someone passes through, there would be like maybe a blur. But as long as you get enough scans of that space, it should patch over it. And if that is not the case, then you can go in and actually just delete the points that have either the person or the object that you don't want in there.
So my recommendation is, if like for some reason you guys thought you would use it for any sort of projects, is to see if anyone locally offers this service. Because again, like a lot of real estate, you know, different hotels, things like that, they'll have this kind of technology available, and most guys that do it, or most people that do it, will not charge as much as it would be to get the equipment. But if it's something that you think you regularly use, like by all means, like I think they have financing plans and stuff like that. Yeah. But honestly, I've learned so much about this type of thing just in the past year, and it's really mind-blowing that it's, I guess, not maybe as well known as you'd think.
No, so, I hadn't heard about it till we started this project, but yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah. Anybody have any other questions?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
To render, I think for the point cloud, I've been using, gosh, we've used so many, like MeshLab and Cloud Compare, and actually maybe this was through Maya. I've been using Maya a lot because you can import either the physical point cloud, or once it's like reconstructed into a mesh, you can just pop it into like Unity or Unreal or Maya and like edit it and all that. So.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's actually, I hear that in my sleep thanks to Colin. He'd say like every day when we were working together. So yeah, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, totally. I've had to do a lot of it over the past year. Because actually for the memory objects that we're making, we are going to do photogrammetry scans of those objects.
Like for example, the cricket, or the grasshopper, sorry, that we had in the trailer. That's going to be one of the objects that you can find in the game and interact with.
Yeah. No, it's a elaborate process, but no, I've just been using my cell phone to actually capture the images, and it's been working pretty well. Have you done photogrammetry before? A little bit, yeah. Oh. Man, like I said, we've used so many programs. I've been using, I wouldn't say AutoCAD. Yeah. But again, like MeshLab, Cloud Compare, those will all take in point clouds that you can then reconstruct through surface reconstruction and clean them up and all that. So those should work for that. Yeah, absolutely.
So, since we're almost out of time, I just wanted to say that, like, I guess what we'd like everyone to take away a little bit from this talk is that there's so many different tools out there for any creative industry or anything creative you want to do. That's the exciting thing about collaborating with someone who I think is not necessarily from the same background as you creatively or in a degree, is that they might have ideas that you'd never even thought of. Like, this is more of like an engineering thing. Here we are, we've learned so much about this kind of software, and now we're hopefully going to utilize it as something for an interactive movie. And here's hoping that maybe next year we'll actually have a booth to show you our VR with. Yeah. So any last minute questions, or yes? Thank you.
Thank you for that. Yeah, if you guys are so inclined, please follow us on Facebook at, I think it's the Bell Garden. If you type that in, and usually
it's just under the Bell Garden.
Or
I think it's just the Bell. If you Google or not Google, if you Facebook the Bell Garden, it'll be
one of the first couple. You'll recognize it.
Website's still under construction, but we'll be posting that soon. And we will actually, if anyone is interested, I know you've all probably got your own projects you're working on, but we will be starting another Indiegogo campaign sometime later this year. So, all right, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
I think that's it. All right, thank you.
Thanks.
It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level.